Good morning, grade 7 learners. Today, we will be learning a new lesson. Are you all excited to know what is it? If that's so, please stand up and pick up pieces of trash around your area. You are also reminded to always wear your face mask and maintain distance towards your classmates. You are also reminded to always wash your hands and sanitize it with your alcohol or hand sanitizers. And to those students who cannot hear or see clearly at the back, you can transfer here in front. And to those who are not feeling well, you can go to our school clinic teacher for health advices. Do we have any here in the class? Okay, if none, let's proceed to our prayer to be led to us by Dalia Alquino. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good morning once again, grade 7 learners. How are you today? Okay, it's good to hear that you are all in good condition. Okay, may I check your attendance now? Very good. You are all present. Let's give a round of applause to everyone who's here. Of course, before we proceed to our new lesson, let us go back and let us review what was our previous lesson. Yes, Marchan. Very good. Last time, we've talked about the genera of various viewed text such as news flash, weather report, movie trailer, and documentary. Okay, very good, Marchan. So we have here our learning objectives for our new lesson. Okay, everybody, please read. Identify active and passive voice through various activities. Reflect on the importance of active voice and passive voice in writing by answering the questions asked. And rewrite active voice sentences to passive voice sentences. This time, we will unlock the unfamiliar terms which we are going to observe throughout the discussion. Okay, we have the first one, enhanced community quarantine or the ECQ. This is the strictest safety measure and is effectively a total lockdown. Okay, what is lockdown? It is a restriction policy for people of community to stay where they are, or the other term for this is the stay at home. This is often used to define this word. Okay, the next one is indoor. This is related to the interior of a building or living which is carried on within the building. Another term, we have superb. This is another term for excellent. Household chores, I know you're familiar with this, but I still include this in our unfamiliar terms. Okay, so household chores is the regular or daily light work of a household. And the last term, we have novels. These are the books which have one long story written in them. For our first activity, I am going to divide the class into two. Each group will be given a copy of the short dialogue, and this is called the table talk. Okay, you are reminded also that the group will be given points if you are going to read the lines of the assigned character following the given rubric. So we have the rubrics in reading. I am going to show it later. And I would like also to remind everyone that the group who will collect the highest points after all the activities will receive a reward after the class discussion. Isn't it exciting, class? Okay, so learners, you are also reminded to observe the sentences in the short dialogue. And we have here the rubrics in reading. For pronunciation, we have 2 points. If you pronounce with little or no mistakes. And fluent expression is 2 points. if the reading is fluent with expression. Role play participation participates in role play activity with enthusiasm and takes on a leadership role, uses all or almost all basic forms, structures, and vocabulary for 2 points. Sentence stress for 2 points if you have very few mistakes in sentence stress. Lastly, we have volume. If you have this confidence in reading, a total of 10 points. So this is the short dialogue While on a Break by Cici Regino Ragul. While on a coffee break at work, two best friends Mira Jane and Lucy talked about how they spent their ECQ lockdown. Hi Lucy, it's been a while since I last saw you. You look amazing. Staying indoors for 2 months suits you well. What's your secret? It was not easy. Since we were all advised to stay indoors, instead of just staying in bed and doing nothing, the family decided to do something worthwhile and productive. Really? That's interesting. What did you do? Well, first, my mom divided the chores among us. My brother cooked our food, while the dishes were washed by my sister, and I cleaned the house. Your mom did a great job in dividing all the household chores among all of you. What else did you guys do? Yes, she did. It was her way of keeping us responsible. The house was prepared by Dad, and art painting was mastered by my brother. We can't believe he has such talent. All the paintings were sold online by Mom. We got pretty good cash with it. They were bought at a good price. Is that so? Wow, I want to see his works. I have no talent in painting. You can't believe his works. They're superb. I have no talent in such also. In my case, I focused on keeping my body healthy. I exercised a lot. That's why I'm in good shape right now. How about you? That answers why you look so good right now. Well, I read a lot of books. It is kind of boring, but reading is my thing. I finished all Paulo Coelho's novels. You've been a book lover ever since, so I'm not surprised at all. It just makes me sad because some of my books were put into a garage sale. Oh my! Time is almost over. Let's go back to work. Let's talk again some other time. Oh, I didn't notice it. Sure, Lucy. Let's catch up some other time. Send my regards to your family. Did you enjoy the short dialogue? This time, I am giving you 2 minutes to talk with your group mates and to collaborate with the guide questions given. We have what is the dialogue all about and what have you noticed on the sentences in the dialogue. Okay, group 1. Anyone from your group who can tell me what is the dialogue all about? Very good. So the dialogue is all about two best friends who are talking about their experiences during the enhanced community quarantine or the ECQ lockdown. Very good. How about group 2? Can you please answer number 2? What have you noticed on the sentences in the dialogue? Very good observation. So most of the sentences in the dialogue is all about the household chores. So it requires someone to do something, okay? So they have to act. So we have there the action words, which is a verb. Very good observation. So, do you have any idea right now what is our topic for this morning? Okay, so let's go back to our learning objectives. Okay, just try to observe. Yes, Christine! What is our lesson for today? What do you think? Very good! Our topic for this morning is all about active and passive voice. With the same group, I am going to distribute writing materials and you are going to select leader, secretary, and reporter. Okay, so as you can observe, we have 2 sentences for group 1 and 2 sentences for group 2. This activity will be called as am I active or passive? So what you are going to do is to simply identify the following sentences assigned to you, whether it's active voice or in passive voice. So you are going to write the sentence here under active voice and the other sentence in the right column. Is the instruction clear? Thank you to groups for your presentation. So this time we are going to have our question and answer portion. Okay, who will answer number 1? In the left column, what are the subjects of the sentences? Yes, Rodel. Very good. The answer is brother and I. How about number 2? Yes, Clarice. How about the verb? Very good. Cooked and cleaned. Number 3, Jamaica, please answer. In these sentences, are the subjects the doer of the action or not? Very good. The answer is yes. The subjects are the doer of the action. Yes, Ivan. Who do you think are the receivers of the action? Very good. It's the food and house. Yes, Dave. How about the right column? What are the subject of the sentences? We have the dishes and paintings. James, kindly answer the 6th question. What are the verbs? We have were washed and were sold. Very good. Michael, please answer number 7. Do you think that the subject is the doer of the action? Very good. Your answer is no, it's not. How about Eureka? In these sentences, who do you think are the doer of the action? We have sister and mom. From the sentences, Leah, which do you think are the examples of active voice? And why do you think so? We have, my brother cooked our food and I cleaned the house. Very good, Leah. How about you, Jury? Can you answer the last question? What sentences are in passive voice? Very good. The dishes were washed by my sister and all the paintings were sold online by mom. Very good, everyone. We have here the final answer of our second activity. Do you have any question? Okay, if
Voices
none,
of the verb.
let us watch the short video clip.
What is the voice of the verb? Voice is a term used to describe whether a verb is active or passive. It tells us whether the subject is the doer or receiver of the action. Active and passive voice. What is active voice? The active voice is the normal voice. This is the voice that we use most of the time. We have the subject, the verb, and the object. The subject is the doer of the action. We use active voice when the doer of the action is specific and it emphasizes the doer of the action. Let's take a look at some examples. Will you tell me the subject of the sentence? Great! The old king is the subject of the sentence. The old king is the doer of the action ruled, the verb. And the kingdom Bumbaran is the object of the sentence. The object is the person or thing that receives the action. And this sentence is an example of active voice. Another example, Prince Bantugan defeats the enemies. Will you help me to identify the subject of the sentence? All right. Prince Bantugan is the subject of the sentence, and the doer or performer of the action defeats, the verb. And the object of the sentence is the enemies, the receiver of the action. Now let's discuss the passive voice. If we begin the sentence with the object or person that the action is performed on, we formulate the passive voice. The subject in the passive voice is the receiver of the action. And sometimes we use the passive voice because we don't know or do not want to express who performed the action. Now, if we want to say or write who or what performs the action while using the passive voice, we use the preposition by. Now, look what happened to the object of the sentence. The object becomes the subject of the sentence, and the subject becomes the object. However, the subject is no longer performing the action of the verb. Rather, it's being acted upon by the verb. The subject of a sentence in the passive voice is no longer the doer of the action, but the recipient of the action. So again, the object becomes the subject of the sentence. And the subject is no longer performing the action of the verb, or no longer the doer of the action, but the recipient of the action. Since we want to say who performs the action while using the passive voice, we use the preposition by. The structure of active and passive voice.
So from the video that you have watched, what do you think is an active voice? Is the subject the doer or not? In most English sentences with an action verb, the subject performs the action denoted by the verb. Always remember that the active voice has a strong, direct, and clear tone. We have the example, my brother cooked our food. This sentence is from the short dialogue that we have read a while ago. So the brother here is the doer of the action or the subject. Cooked is the action. Food is the receiver of the action. We have another example for the active voice. RJ fixed the motorcycle. RJ here is the subject and is the doer of the action. So what's the action? It's fixed. What did RJ fix? It's the motorcycle, which is the receiver of the action. Okay, so active voice is a normal voice that we usually use most of the time. This time, what do you think is a passive voice according to the video clip that you have watched? Is the subject the doer of the action? When the subject is acted on by the verb, this is a passive voice. It is quite easy also to detect because of the preposition by. Always remember that. We have here examples of passive voice. Our food is cooked by my brother. So a while ago in the active voice, it is my brother cooks our food. So this time, food here is our subject. It's no longer the brother, but the food is cooked, our action word, and brother is the doer of the action. So as you can observe, our action we have is cooked. A while ago, it is cooks. It is in simple present tense. That is why if you are going to rewrite it into a passive voice, is our auxiliary verb is in present tense followed by the past participle of the word cook, which is cooked. So this is now our action in passive voice. And take note, we have here the preposition by. All right, another example is the motorcycle was fixed by RJ. Okay, so motorcycle now is the subject, not RJ anymore, but motorcycle. And please observe that our action here is was fixed. Why was? Because in our previous example in the active voice, it is RJ fixed. Fixed there is in past tense already. That is why we are using auxiliary verb that is in past also. Followed by the past participle of the word fix, we have fixed. That is why we have it was fixed by RJ. Okay, so are we clear now? Okay, so I would like also to share the steps on how to change the sentences from active voice to passive voice. We have 6 steps. The first one is you have to identify the subject, the verb, and the object or the SVO. Then the object will become now the subject. You must put a suitable auxiliary verb or helping verb. Then you have to change the verb into past participle of the verb. And you must add the preposition by. And the subject will become the object. Okay, so this is just a trivia that the passive voice is usually used in procedural writing, especially in the world of science. And also, the action or the object in passive voice is emphasized rather than the subject. And also, in research, what is more emphasized there is the research, not the researcher anymore. And in PV or in passive voice, in scientific writing, it suggests that scientific experiments and the results are independent of any particular individual so that they are open to investigation by all. So that is why in science, in the world of science, they commonly use the passive voice of sentences. All right, so can you see now the pattern for the active voice and for the passive voice? For the active voice, we have the subject plus the verb plus the object. Okay, always remember that. SVO. Okay. For our passive voice, we have object plus verb plus subject. We have OVS. For the third activity, we have AV or PV. So you are going to select your partner, and I will be giving you meta cards and a marker in each pair, and there will be sentences that will be flashed, and you are going to identify if those sentences is in active or passive voice. So AV for active and then PV for passive voice. So you are going to raise your meta cards after writing your answers, and the pair who will get more correct answers will be rewarded. Let's start. Are you now ready? The first sentence is, the family decided to do something worthwhile and productive. The answer is AV. Very good. The next one. The house was repaired by Dad. The answer is PV. Very good. Art painting was mastered by my brother. The answer is PV again. And some of my books were put into a garage sale. The answer is AV. Very good. The last one. I read a lot of books. The answer is AV. Okay, very good, Marchen and Dahlia. You have your perfect score, so you will be rewarded later. Very good. Let's clap our hands for them. This time, you are going to answer the activity individually. You are given 2 minutes to finish the task. Okay, write it down in 1/2 crosswise. You can start now. Okay, so let us check your answer. For number 1, we have, the car is driven by my younger brother. Number 2, Grandma will be visited by us next week, or we can also have, next week, Grandma will be visited by us. Number 3, a beautiful poem was written by Gabrielle. Number 4, my brother's toys were thrown by Mom. Number 5, an email was sent by me yesterday, or yesterday, an email was sent by me. Okay, who got a perfect score? Very good, Diane. Very good. Okay, kindly submit your papers. So, before we end our discussion, let me ask you, what is the importance of learning the 2 voices of verb? We have active voice and passive voice. Yes, Marchan. Very good. Using active voice often improves clarity and can help ensure clarity by making it clear to the reader who is taking action in the sentence. While passive voice can help avoid unnecessary repetition. Very good. Okay, to sum everything, we are going to have a song about active and passive voice, and everyone should sing it, okay? Every after the sentence is reflected, you are going to identify if it's an active or passive voice in a form of song, of course, following the beat. Okay, are you all ready? Okay, let's start. Sing the song. Active. Passive. Active. Passive. Active. Passive. Active. Passive. Okay, so did you enjoy our the song? Okay, so this time we are going to have our evaluation. Everyone, please get 1/4 sheet of paper. Please don't forget to write your name. The instruction will be you are going to decide whether the following sentences are written in active or passive voice. Then you have to underline the doer of the action. You have to write active if it's in active voice and passive for passive voice. We have here the blanks provided for you. Okay, so you can start answering now. You're only given 3 minutes to finish the task. All right, let's check your answers. For number 1, we have active, and gave there is the doer of the action. Number 2, passive, and then car. Active, mom. Active, Jana. Passive, technician. Active, Nash. Passive, Joshua. Passive, mom. Active, Lawrence. Number 10, passive, hairstylist. Okay, who got a perfect score? Wow, excellent! Most of the class got a perfect score. Very good. Let's clap our hands for that. I believe you don't have any questions because you got a perfect score a while ago. So this time, I am going to give you an assignment. What you're going to do is just to study the image below, and you have to construct 3 sentences in the active voice, and then you are going to change them into passive voice. You have to write this one in your assignment notebook. Is that clear? Okay, that's all for today. Goodbye, class. Thank you, everyone.